Nic Claxton's name remains popular among many different trade rumors and trade proposals throughout the desert of the NBA's late offseason. Could the Chicago Bulls be a good fit for Nic Claxton, and could they find a way to bring him in? The 26-year-old has 3 years remaining on his current contract. The Bulls have lots of toolsy wings, combo forwards. Obviously, Vooch still the stalwart starting center coming into this season on the final year of his deal. But AK could be maybe looking to make some roster tweaks. And everybody's talking about Nic Claxton. Before I toss it to GOAT, Big Dave, just generally, you like Nic Claxton as a player? You like Nic Claxton fit with the Bulls potentially?
Mm-hmm. I've liked Nic Claxton ever since he come into the league. I always thought he fit well on the Bulls. The athleticism that he plays with, the Bulls and the offense that they run, just that transition, getting up and down the floor. But most importantly, he finally gives the Bulls that defense in the middle. Just somebody to be a deterrent down there. Like, teams will have to think twice. There will be no easy layups going against a guy like Nic Claxton with that kind of athleticism and that kind of length. He's going to be blocking shots down there and starting to break for guys like Josh Giddey and Modest Vucevic as they, get the run out with Kobe White. So that's why I always looked at him as somebody that could fit. Even before they had a guy like Josh Giddey, I was like, no, bro, he fits kind of perfectly with what you want to do as a team. And his name is just continuing to pop up. Go.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He's had a couple of down years, I would say, relative to his best season, which was 22-23. Last year, 10 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.4 blocks in 27 minutes per game. I would expect, as he enters his age 26 season with 3 years left on his contract, that he could get back to that level. I do think that athletic rim protecting centers do tend to decline a little bit earlier than other players, just in terms of that arc. But $25 million on the books for the upcoming 2025-26 season for his age 26 year, and then $23.15 million in 26-27 and $20.94 million in 27-28. So declining deal, descending contract. That's always a positive, team friendly in that sense. And then just from a fit perspective, it just comes down to what identity do the Bulls want to play with at center? And we've talked a lot about the spacing and the playmaking element that Nikola Vucevic brings. I know that he has disappointed a lot of fans, but he still does shoot it. He spaces the floor. He brings opposing bigs away from the basket, and he keeps the play alive. He keeps the advantage alive, and he's a good facilitator. Do they want to now move to, yes, a much better rim protector, a much better defensive player, but somebody that's going to be a little bit more limited? I mean, Claxton shot 23% on threes last year, has never really taken them at volume. He's a 50%.
His volume is essentially zero.
Yeah. He's a 50% free throw shooter. So he's not somebody that adds that floor spacing element. And while I think he gives you vertical spacing, I do think you would lose something there. But at the end of the day, if the talent is available and he's on a good contract and the Bulls need to reorient their team around defense, I do think he could be not only a good option, but maybe one of the few gettable guys.
Yeah, and he's also a guy that you mentioned those first 3 seasons, he was, didn't play a lot. I mean, but the last 3, 76, 71, 70. I just think the right kind of opportunity here with the Bulls, he could definitely thrive. Yeah.
No, I would totally agree with that. So let's maybe take a look at some of the trade scenarios here, Katie, if you can pull up the old trade machine on fanspo.com, my favorite place in the entire world.
Goat's happy place.
We got the Bulls, we got the Nets, and I think it's just important to look at what the Nets situation is here going forward. They have a ton of space, of cap space going into next season. They've got almost no long-term money on their books. They obviously traded for Michael Porter Jr., trading away Cam Johnson, which added some money, but they're still going to be one of the teams that, is probably not going to be big fish hunting in terms of free agency next year, but more likely will be a team that takes on bad contracts for draft picks. So the trade I had come up with, and you guys can roast me for it if you want,
we will,
was Patrick Williams going to the Nets as matching salary. So this is longer term money for Nic Claxton, who'd be coming back for the Bulls. Longer term money for the Nets to take on, but less money next year. So that actually opens up some more cap space, allows them to take in a young player who maybe they could try to rehab. They did the same thing with Zaire Williams there. You can see from the Grizzlies. They've done it with Terrence Mann. They're willing to take on contracts and longer term money with all the space that they have, but what they want in return is picks. So let's go to the picks tab here for the Bulls, and we're going to give them the Portland pick, and we're going to give them 2 future second-round picks as well, 28 and 30. I don't think this is quite enough. I also don't think that the Bulls should be willing to give up an additional unprotected pick of their own.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about this value in terms of the Bulls sending out picks, sending out Patrick, getting off of Patrick's money, but taking on a little bit more money?
I think if I'm the Nets, I don't love this deal unless they think they can fix Patrick Williams. Then it's more enticing. I don't want to throw another pick on top of the Portland one. Like an additional first, like you were saying, if you're the Bulls, if Brooklyn says that's not rich enough, a couple of seconds, whatever. AK, he throws those in everywhere.
Use those anyway.
Is it enticing though for the Nets, because they're a team that's not really trying to win, they're trying to get to the draft? Is it enticing for them in that kind of way of we still have time to see, or if he can fit in, with what we're trying to do? The
other part of the question is, do the Nets think the Blazers are going to be good or bad? How valuable is that pick in their eyes?
I mean, I think like we've talked about before, I think this is the time to trade the Blazers pick. They just traded for Drew Holiday. They just got Damian Lillard. This is a team that clearly wants to make the playoffs. If it's not this year, it could be next year. Yeah. And even if they do make the playoffs, it's not going to be they're not going to be a top 4 seed. It's going to be a pick in the late teens, or just outside the lottery. So the value or the upside on that pick, it's not going to be a top 10 pick. But I do think that there could be some value there, and that's why I think the Bulls should capitalize on that now.
This trade, honestly, I wouldn't make it for the Bulls. I get his point, as far as the Portland pick, them trying to make the playoffs, trying to win, do those things like that. So the value might be at its peak right now. So you might want to get rid of it for like that. So I get that aspect. But, man, I just saw a bunch of picks and Patrick Williams go out for Nic Claxton. And as much as I like Nic Claxton, it's all those picks that went out that just made me like, I don't know if I want to give all that up for Nic Claxton, depending on how you feel about him and like that. And I do like him. There's nothing wrong with the player. I would say, but when it was just him and Patrick Williams in the pick, I was like, okay, cool. But when he threw in the extra 2, after I was like,
they're seconds.
I know.
They're seconds.
I know.
If I'm the Bulls, I'm doing this trade.
Yeah, I would do this if I'm the Bulls, but I tend to agree with Matt that I just don't think this is enough for the Nets. I think they'd want
more.
I think they'd want another first. Yeah,
and that's what's wild.
They're negotiating with AK, so of course they want more. They think they can get more.
You would give up the two first and 2 seconds.
I wouldn't do that. No. I would not give up a second.
I would give up the Portland pick and 2 seconds. I wouldn't give up an additional first on top of the Portland pick.
Okay.
What if it was Ayo Dosunmu?
And Patrick Williams, you're not giving up you're moving on.
You're right.
That's a win. That's a winning part of that trade for the Bulls.
You're 100% correct, Matt.
What if you added a young player like Ayo Dosunmu to the mix? For me, I don't think he
do this?
because I don't think the Bulls should add another draft pick, and I don't think this is enough for the Nets. So maybe a player like Ayo helps bridge the gap. Maybe they want to get off of that money altogether, and you could throw Vooch or Zach Collins or Kevin Huerter their way, so that they could just create more cap space next year rather than taking on Patrick's long-term money. I think there's other options here, but ultimately, I just don't know if that's going to bridge the gap. I think they'll want and probably be able to get a second first-round pick from a different team.